When I think about all the times, hey, Hugo. When I think about all the times that, I think about all the times, well, it's a lot of times. In a jungle, this cartoon ape likes to make games as well as play games. I did recently fix a bug in Small Towers. The bug was this. I could queue up, and I would be a... No, this is going to reset the game that they're currently playing. Sorry, bots. I'm talking about a thing. I'm nerdging out, bro. You could queue up. The bots will get out of the way, and I did this recently. And then, I was kind of done. So I did the command surrender, and this is a command. It's not explicitly stated here in the rules. But as you'll see, I can surrender if I'm a player. If I'm playing and I'm a player, I can surrender. Command surrender. What I noticed was the opposite flag raised the white flag. Like, that's what you do to surrender, right? So here I am. I'll go ahead and recruit some marauders, I guess. An archer, I suppose. All attack, just to make it. But I'm going to go ahead and surrender. I'm on the right. There it is. That fixed it. Good. So I've raised the white flag. So it was opposite. So it doesn't seem like it would be that confusing. But literally, I told the other team to celebrate. They won. Record the win for the other team. And I said, yeah, and raise the right flag on the other team. It's goofy. So I fixed that. And the bots will go back to playing their games. Good job, bots. You can play those games too. You can do secrets, small towers. You can do all lots of things. And at some point, we'll get back to talking about the other game we've made. We can legit say we made it because the code is done. Shuffle Wars really just needs art. So we're getting really close to the end of the art. And I think these series, Design Workshop and Design Chat, will sort of wrap up around then. Design Workshop, Design Chat, we've been working together on a simple game that we call Jump In. Jump In has got a simple premise of game. You try to get to the win square before it shrinks. We added walls and even went towards a maze. And now we're thinking about a door, a dynamic element. So Design Workshop was tasked with making the door work. The door works. Yay! We even made it so the door cannot close on the player. Good. Now we are tasked with making the button work. And not for nothing, Design Chat made the art. In fact, they made some pretty cool art. The art they made it's designed to be able to do this. Because we were thinking about, Design Chat was worried about how do we associate buttons with doors, because we might want multiple buttons and multiple doors, and how do we do that? What if you're colorblind, etc., etc. And so what we landed on after some brainstorming, this is literally the brainstorming, we said, you know what, let's try this. Let's try animating both the door and a border around the button at the same time so that they are associated. No matter where they are, they don't need the line drawn. You don't need color. You can do animation of value like this. Blink, blink, blink. And so, to get that done, Design Chat made the button and even made the up and down versions of the button, which is good, but now we got to implement it. Our job is to make the button So we're looking to do this. Activation and reset. Types of trigger. Yeah, we talked about, like, later we might want a trigger like a button or a switch, or I don't know what else, to be a one-time trigger or a timed trigger that unsets itself or resets itself after a timer, or a toggle trigger so you could land on it once and then go on it a second time and reset it manually. These are types of behaviors that could be on the button. That's why we started thinking about what icon should show the player what type of button it is so they know. We'll get there. It doesn't need to do that now. All it needs to do is trigger the door. Let's do that. We'll move towards this after that, because I think we could just accommodate these options in case that's what we want to do. We'll leave it up to design chat to make the icons, I guess. Maybe we could do that. I don't know. But let's do it. The button is going to be associated with a door. Oh, that's a good point. We haven't talked about that yet. We'll associate with a door, and then what I mean by associate it, we're going to, us being the level designer is going to place a door and place a button, and we need to configure the two to be related. We'll do that. We'll think about getting it to pulse. Pulse like what we want here. And then we'll talk about the types of triggers too. Okay. Let's get to work, because in Design Workshop we make, right? If I get my avatar out of the way, you know it's me, right? You know it's me. It's me. Okay. What Design Chat made for us is a prefab. Yay, Design Chat. The prefab includes some children that represent the other layers of this piece, because it turns out the base layer of the button looks cool, but the button piece, well, that would be the center, right? Where the button light would be on the border and could light up if I just activate it, like that. Looks pretty cool. The button piece can change its material to look like the button is up or the button is down. Now, we're going to have to deal with all of those. So right now it's up. If I say down, it looks like this. So up, down. Okay. I have to deal with that. Have to deal with this. And we'll have to associate button with door so that the function we already have on the door is triggered by the button. Here under obstacles, here's the door, and I run, I say activate, and this test thing does the signal exactly the way the button will. Okay. In other words, this door dynamic already has a public function that we should be using. Let's do it. All right. Where is that public function? The door has activate door. There it is. Now, this has been disabled. This code is not active yet because it's we're keeping this commented out so that we can use our little test trick. This test button is a trick that we're using to test our code, and we're going to keep it there for a while till we don't need it. Otherwise, this is pretty straightforward. This is the function our button should call. Cool. We're going to make a script and we're going to have it call this function when the character is on top of the button. Right. Design Chat also found out that if our character is on top of the button, it looks like this, and that's fine. In fact, this mirrors exactly what we do with other buttons, like the UI button for whether the player would like to retry the level or not. It mirrors what happens on the win square. You get all the way inside, right? We're going to want to use that because Design Chat found we cannot use a trigger. I'm calling this trigger, and that's going to confuse things. But here's the collider on this game object. I'm going to enable this collider. It is set to a trigger. Now watch what happens. So it is supposed to be not solid, and yet our character cannot go through it. It's as solid as the wall is. Why? Because of the way we made walls solid, and to make sure that our character can't cheat through the wall. It's detecting the trigger, and it's saying, yep, that's solid, cannot move. And so, yeah. Well, we could fix that, but I think what we would rather do, frankly, is, again, have the button act as the buttons do in our game. This button square, for example, is what we use for our UI. Hey player, would you like to replay the level or not? And this was almost good enough to use on the button we're going to do. In fact, let's review and see how hard this would be to make it to what we want. This is specifically, it's supposed to be an interaction square, like a button. It's what it's supposed to be. But right now, it is specifically configured to deal with the game manager stuff and tell the game manager some things. Deal with the button results, and we're just assuming it is the game manager. You know what? We could probably... Yeah, and that's the end of the function. This is the player inside the square calculation that we do with the win square as well. This is, you know what? The only thing that's weird is this. The only thing that's weird is that we're assuming this is about the replay result. But we can say, hold up. Generalize this further. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This button should be generalized, meaning right now it only does the replay result thing. Hey player, do you want to replay or not? And that's all we use this for. But if I made it generalized, I can use it for this button, and I think that makes a lot of sense. The reason why I put this review thing here is because this is literally true or false. Does this replay or not? Because it's going to talk to the game manager. Well, let's generalize this by making it having more options here, right here. Probably going to replace this because whether this replays yes or replays no, that's great for what we were doing before, but now we want it to do more things. More than just two. And in fact, we want it to do a list of different things. A human readable list of things is where I'm going with this. And we recently did one like this. So we're going to say this is called a button result. Button type. I don't know what to call it yet. But it's going to be like This is supposed to be a replay button to replay it or not, or now we can do other things, like a door button, or let's say it could even be a one-time button, a toggle button, or a timed, yeah, this is good. This is what? Button type. Let's call it, this could be replay yes, replay no. See, Visual Studio knows what's up. And I'm going to say this is a one-time trigger, and I'm making it all one word because it needs to be one word. It's a list of one word. These are names of different selections I can have in one thing, instead of just two, which is fine if I had a Boolean, true, false, that's it, just two. I'm now able to say this is timed trigger, this is toggle triggers. These are different things. This is now a new type that the button could be instead of just true, false. So I will say button type, and yeah, I'll just say type, that's fine. So this is, I'm going to get rid of this. What this looks like now is this. I'm going to say I would like these buttons to have, see, I don't want this anymore. I want to actually get rid of the mesh collider on all of these prefabs. So I'm going to override the main one. So now the prefab. There we go. Button, trigger button, the rear. This no longer has a collider on it. Good. But it should have a button square thing on it. Okay, this is fine. Cool. And now it says replay yes, replay no, one time. So it's got this now. Means you can select one and only one, and you must select one. That's a perfect example. So before, you could only select it must be yes or no, and actually we want a whole bunch more, so we're going to add this as a list. By default, this is yes. I'm going to say this button by default should be a one-time trigger. This no longer means anything, and because we're about to change the behavior in our script. There. But the only other thing we want to fix now is we added this and we want to get rid of this. We want our UI prefab stuff. Do we have UI prefab? Yeah, it's right here in text display. These things also have button square scripts on them, and it says replay yes, replay no. This should say replay no. This one says replay yes, and that's already good. So now I can cleanly remove this one from the code, and our prefab is already configured appropriately. Cool. Meaning I didn't have to touch how our replay button stuff appears in any of our levels because I fixed the prefab. And since all the levels use a prefab, they're all fixed. It's really helpful. Okay, we'll go back to this. I will get rid of this now. I want to find where we use this and replace it to say it's either replay yes or replay no. So let's go look. Here it is. Deal with the button results. And this is the only place where we do this, yeah? Yeah. Deal with the replay results. In other words, this is where we can be very generalized. If the type of this button is replay yes, right? Or no. If it is replay yes, or if the type is replay no. then we know this is a replay button, okay? And we should be doing this stuff. I will make sure that is in place first. I don't know why this is giving me an extra curly bracket. Okay, which means this was there assuming that we were dealing with replay. And now we're going to make sure that is still the case, okay? Because if this is replay yes or replay no, then we are definitely doing, hey, game manager, replay result is, right? And here, instead of using this variable we're going to get rid of, I'm going to use this. Replay result is, player would like to replay yes or no. The input is a Boolean. And that actually can be this condition right here. Because whether it is a replay yes or a replay no, we will do this. And then when it's called, we will use the condition, it does this equal replay yes. And if it does, it'll say replay result true. If it doesn't, because it's replay no, it'll say replay result false, which is exactly what it should do. It's exactly what it just did do a minute ago, which means I no longer use that variable, and I can get rid of it. Generalize this further? Yes, I have reviewed it, and that is exactly what we want to do. Cool. We otherwise don't care about the game manager, I think. Like, we can go ahead and have a reference to it, I don't mind, but we're not going to use it if it's not a replay button. So now, if it is replay yes or replay no, we do that. Else, it is not a replay button. Okay, and here's where we can, here's where we can actually do other things. Okay, so I just grabbed the functionality we had before. It still works. In fact, we should test that. Let's test that theory. But then we can use the same functionality to, I guess I need to actually play the game to test that. We use the same functionality in our buttons that are meant to be, that are meant to appear when we lose. We're going to use that same functionality for our new button mechanics. Do 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 do. Here we go. And my job to test here is to lose. Okay, so I'm going into the green square. And now I'm going out of the green square, into the green, out. I'm going over here. No, wait, wrong way. I'm going this way. No, I'm going to lose. Oh, no. Oh, I lost. There's the replay button. And yes, I can replay. Okay, so that still works. I suppose to be thorough, I will also test a lose condition where I say, no, I don't want to replay. I have had enough of this game, which is frankly not what we want our player to do. But there we go. Cool. So the test is good. And that means that we've successfully replaced this. We are dealing with the button results, and replay works. If it's a replay button using either of these top two, we're good. And it's already configured. Yay. Well, this, by default, is what our buttons will do. They're a one-time trigger, and we'll implement the other ones later. To do, handle other trigger types. So I do this to do capitalization with a little colon because this is actually a standard comment to write. You saw me do review up here, and to do is another one. There are IDEs, or integrated development environments like Visual Studio, that look for these keywords because it's so common. And you can, for example, always search for to do. In other words, you leave yourself little notes about things you want to pick up and work on later. Well, this is one of those things. Okay, but we are going to do if type equals One-time trigger. No big deal. Except we need to know what to do. We need to know what to do. We know we're going to call this function on a door because that's what we want to do now. But I'm thinking this should actually just say activate. I'm thinking we want the ability to activate different things. And the reason I say that is because we're making a door now, but before that we made a wall and we did more things with walls and it was cool. We're doing more things with doors and it's cool. We could be doing more things with brand new level elements and that will be cool. I have a feeling there will be other dynamic elements. And so if I have a function that says activate door, and that's what I code, that's one thing. But if I say activate, or something more generic, I can call that function on more than one thing. Is that true? That's a really good question. If I have a reference to door dynamic, what else am I going to be doing? That's a good question. I'm saying this might be a place where we need to generalize as well, especially if we want other things that can be dynamic and activated by buttons. I would love it if it looked like this. Hey, I'm making this level and I have like a button over here and a door over here, and I say button is named Dave, and the door is named Dave, and they're associated that way, and it's just configured. It's easy. I just place this, place that, call them both Dave, and move on. Now, maybe I could call them Banana or Rutabaga, but the point is, they are tagged, and that would be a very easy way to associate these two. If I did that, that's cool. When I say, hey button, now go find the thing, I'm actually going to be asking to find this script door dynamic in order to say activate door. That's true. Even the name door dynamic might need to be more generalized. Door state, this needs to be generalized as well. Well, this is very specifically handling a door. So I think I'm going to just keep it at door for right now. Review, make generalized or more than doors. Let's just call it that and move on. This needs to have a reference to door dynamic, some instance of a door somewhere. And it basically, exactly like there's a reference to the game manager, I need something like this. And so I mean, manually, I would do this. I would say, give me, as long as this exists, if door is not null, then it exists, and I can say, yeah, door dynamic, I'd like you to activate door. Exactly that, yes, please. And are we activating? We are activating, true. Because this is one-time trigger. Okay. I'm saying I would manually configure this now to test it. As soon as that test works, we will be able to remove the test code we have. Door prototype. we have a trigger button that is currently looking for a door dynamic. I can say, you mean this door? Right. Let me get rid of my avatar. I say, you mean this door right here? It says, yeah, that one. I say, cool. It's a one-time trigger on that door. Go. We should be able to move around and get on the door. Did that work? We are not there. Oh, hold on. There's an error. What's this error? Well, there's a reference exception. Oh, this, okay, so we haven't actually fixed all of things and made it generalizable. The button script also looks at Game Manager, not just when it needs to be doing this, but like it only checks to see if you're in this square in post-game, which of course is terrible for us. What if I said this? If either we aren't either of these, or it is in post-game. Because if it's a replay button, we only want to look at this in post-game. If it's a replay button, then we can check to see if we're in the square in post-game. If it's not a replay button, we kind of want to look at this all the time. How do I say that? This condition is wrong because it assumes it's only a replay button. So, if the type is not equal to yes or no, it is not equal to a replay that is yes or no. That condition can be, it is not equal to yes, and it is not equal to no. Okay. That is kind of like one I may be noodling this condition a little bit. Stick with me here. This first thing I put in parentheses because I'm going to say, first check to see, is this not equal to yes and not equal to no? In other words, this is a other button that's not a replay button. Or it is yes or no, and we are in post-game. Then we want to be doing this. Okay, so I think that's fine. A little confusing though, because we're using negatives here. If the type is not equal to yes and type is not equal to no, then it's not a replay button. And so go ahead and do the thing every single frame. But if it is a replay button, because it's either yes or no, then this would be false. Okay, but it hits the or and checks this. And so it's going to ignore this until postgame, and then it will look at this because it's postgame. I think that's true. Should we test that theory? Of course. We need to test this theory. First, we can see if this button actually moves the door. It does not, which is sad, and we need some feedback to find out why. Is it that the Is the button exactly the same size as the character? It is. Well, what if I just made it a little bit bigger? Like, would that actually work? It does. That's hilarious. Okay. Again, what happened is this is exactly the same size as the character. So when the character tries to get on it, it's never going to be 100% on it. I mean, it's just really, 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 really hard because it's going to be always slightly off. But if we say, well, this button is actually a little bigger, that might not be a bad aesthetic choice as well. It might look better now that I think about it. Let's just kind of line this up and see if we can make this look like the character can fit inside here, you know? What, like this? Yeah. Yep. Okay. So that means our button really should be bigger. Just a little bit bigger. We'll go ahead and overwrite the prefab with that, in fact. And that's unfortunate though, because now I'm worried about it being on the grid. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. It's definitely bigger. Okay. And can I okay. Why aren't you triggering? What am I missing here? Oh, somehow the door was not associated with this? Oh, okay, I reset the prefab and that reset all these properties. This door, please. On this level, this button is associated with this door, please. And yay. Okay, so we can get on the button. Good. Cool. Presumably, you could have a second button that does what we would expect second button to do. And we'll associate that second button with this second door. And you can kind of see what we're going for now. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Can't go through the door. But then we go up here. And then we can go through the door. Do. Good. Alright. Well, we have signal. We have achieved making a signal happen between button and door. What we haven't done is told the player which is which, and we haven't shown the player a button actually being pressed because we have a second image to show. We have a second image to show. Wow, you know what? Should we make these into our UI buttons? Wow, the image of the button press is causing me to rethink our UI buttons, the replay buttons. Oh no. Because here's the script that's doing the stuff. This would need to know about these other textures, the button up and the button down. I mean, I guess we can leave the replay buttons alone and not do it if it's replay yes or replay no. Yes, we are making it a generalized script, but wow, this is already getting messy because we already did this and we're going to keep doing that. Yuck. Makes me wonder if we should refactor this whole thing, but for now, we want to implement what Design Chat gave us. Design Chat gave us some nice images, and let's make sure these are used, right? There is a material on the button. This button, the child called button piece, has a material, and it looks like the button is raised, and it could look like the button is lowered. And that's what we want to do for now when the player gets on the button. Yep. It seems like, what? It's just a button. Signal to the door, it's done. But we are going to see complications come up. It is going to happen. I already know. So we've done the button base. This looks good. Here we go. The button down is part of button up and button down are the things we're doing next. And then finally we'll do the button light thing. That'll be the last thing we'll do later. But for now, it's this material on, ooh, wow. Here is our button yes and button no. This is so specific to our replay structure. And this is so specific to the new button structure we have. Oh my. We're going to make it work now, and I guarantee you we're going to have to reconfigure these prefabs, reconfigure the script. It's going to be made simpler and more generalizable, more usable. That way we can just throw these down and use them later. For now, we're going to have to just make it work. Button piece has a material on it. The script for the button now also needs a reference to that button piece. So this has a reference to the door. This needs a reference to the button piece, or rather the renderer of the button piece. And, well, I know for a fact we're going to need this for the, what's it called? Light? Button light. Yeah. So, here's the thing. It's very specific to it not being a replay button, but because it's one of these, we know about a door. We're going to change that later. We're going to know about a button piece and a button light because it's one of these. Ugh, this is messy. It's almost like we want a separate script. Almost. It is almost like that. It's okay though. Right. So here's an example of the script. Here's these variables we just made. This button piece, it's talking about this renderer, so it knows to go look here. And we know we're going to want one for this light as well. In fact, it's on this, hold on, it's on the prefab itself. Check it. I should go to the prefab and fix it here. Trigger button says, there is a script on this thing. What door do you want to go to? It doesn't know. About the button piece. Ah, that we know, actually. If I double click on this, it's this button piece. Boom. And this button light. Boom. This can be part of the prefab. That's totally fine, actually. That is totally fine. And so I don't need to configure this at all. It's already done. It's already done. I just need to configure the door. Okay. Now, we have been following a pattern where our script itself finds the thing it needs. Yeah, we might go back and fix that as part of some of the stuff we want to fix, because now it really looks like this script needs to be redone. Because we were just using it for a replay button in the beginning. Who knew we were going to come back and add a different thing besides replay? But now we are. Oh my. Right? Let's say this. Door cannot be null. And if it is not, then we'll go ahead and activate the door. Plus, we will change the material. Change the image on the button piece. I mean, so far this is safe because it is not a replay button. We're okay. We're fine. But it is a lot. We are adding quite a lot. This now is a variable type. We're going to make two variables that represent the two different button images. The reason I'm saying two is because I'm expecting we're going to reset this button at some point. Not today, but I think this is going to be a button we can use for lots of things, and it'll be great. Hi. Bro, I have no idea you're here unless you use Command-I, so I can't tell if this is something you're saying right now and I should be responding to you, or if you're long gone. Hobo, I keep telling you this, man. It actually looks bad to other people who show up on stream because they think I'm not responsive, and the truth is I can't because I don't know you're here. This is why I'm begging you, man. Please use Command-I. Please. No, things aren't broken. We are actually making stuff. I would love to talk to you about it, but truth is you're not here. That's frustrating, man. I know you mean well, but you really, really need to help me out here. Just do me a favor. Do me a solid, man. All right. Where was I? God, darn it. So this is what I'm talking about. I need to focus on this. That's why I can't respond to chat. Please do me a favor and do Command-I so I know to stop and respond to you. It's actually quite simple. All right. What we're going to do is switch this image. The image comes from here. These are textures. If this were empty in the material, it would be asking for a texture. That's the variable type it's looking for. Right now it's looking for this texture. It could be that texture. So our script is going to remember two textures, and it's going to do that switching I just did manually. So our script is going to have two textures. It is actually texture 2D. Let's not talk about a 3D texture right now. Let's just keep it simple. But one is for up button, I guess. Image. Yeah. The other one's for down. Now this is messy. And I'm already feeling like I want to come in and clean this up because this is already like, this could be cleaner. It could be more efficient. It could be cleaner. It could be more understandable. But right now I just need to get up. Sorry. I want to do this on the prefab again. Because then all the buttons have this. All the buttons should know where the up texture is and the down texture. Now, the funny thing is, even our replay buttons are going to have this information. It won't need it, but it'll have it. It won't need it, and our code will ignore it if it is a replay button. We'll test that theory, but I'm pretty sure. For now, our script knows about the buttons, button up, button down textures, and it knows about the material renderer that it needs. We're going to say, go look at this material and put that texture on it. What's interesting is each button should have its own instance of that material so it can look different. Let me show you. Because we do have two buttons in this test scene. I'm going to say, so here we're changing the image on the button piece. I'm going to say, yeah, the button piece is a renderer. Yeah. I'm going to ask for the material and change the main texture. That's exactly right, Visual Studio. You got it. We're going to change it not up, but down, because it starts out as up. So this is very specific. It's the door that we're activating, and it is up, and we're changing it to down. It's very specific, and it's not generalized at all yet. But it should work. Let's try. I did update the prefab, so is this broken again? No. Door dynamic? Okay, here we go. Cool. Let's see if we can open the doors. And what we're looking for now, what we're testing is, does it look like this button actually got pushed down? You know? So let's play. Ooh, it does. It looks like it got pressed down. And notice this other texture still looks like it is raised up, right? So it looks like we pressed the button down to open the door. Yay. Now all we need now is like this association between this button and this door visually so the player knows that. Right now we just know that. But check it. Dude can go boop 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 ba doop ba doop doo and then jump on the button. Cool. And then jump on this button. Cool. Nice, right? These are one-time buttons, so they're meant to stay down and never come back up. That's what we could add in terms of functionality to the different types of triggers. The time trigger, the toggle trigger, so we could toggle and press it again, it would come back up, I guess. But this is what we're talking about. This is what we've been working toward. Getting a button and a door together. Now, again, why don't we just have the character walk up to the door and open it? Because this would not add anything to the gameplay at all. Imagine this. Here's the door. Here's the character. And it's a wall. I can't do anything with that. Oh, but here's a door, and I just walk up to it, it opens, and I move on. Well, then why not just have it an open passage? Because it's the same thing with a little pause in it. Instead, you have to go somewhere to open the door. And that's the control the player has, is going somewhere. It's, being in a place. Perfect for buttons, yeah? Cool. If we can do that with our button image, we can do these kinds of things with the button light and make it flash like this. Exactly like what the SMOL Towers logo is doing right now. Yes. So we'll do that later. I think this is at least good enough to say we have the functionality of the button triggering the doors. We've taken the artwork that Design Chat gave us, and we created the functionality with the door. It's a one-time activation thing. Imagine now we have a timer on this thing, and it comes back and says activate door false, which actually closes the door. We know it does this. And it changes the button down image to button up again. Right? Imagine all that. I think we would want to remember what is the activation state of this button, in the same way that we have what is the activation state of this door. It is the same, isn't it? Yeah, interesting. Okay. So I'm already thinking about how we're going to refactor this, but it is working, so it will be properly refactoring because the functionality will stay the same. In fact, let's go ahead and test that the original functionality is still there and good. We don't have doors in these levels yet, right? We don't have a level that has a door in it. Actually, we could right now. Maybe we should right now because this is actually done. The same way we threw in a wall and we said this is level 2. Well, we should throw in a wall with a door and a button and say that's level 5, right? I think so. You could do that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk with my friend because I think he thinks he's helping by putting some chat in chat, but what he's just said clearly looks like we are making broken stuff and that I'm not responding to chat, which there's nothing about that that's inviting to other viewers. And so that's a problem. It's actually a problem. I'm sorry I'm distracted by that, but this is actually gotten to a point now where I need to step in and say something. I know he means well, but it's actually a problem. Okay, I'm going to save as level 5. I'm going to make level 4 know that there is a level 5. And I'm going to make sure level 5 says it is level 5. And I'm going to move this wall up. And I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to move this wall down. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we're going to have an issue with the size and placement of things, but I'll fix it. Again, all of our obstacles need to be in this obstacles folder for it to work properly when player happens to not do well. Can I... Yeah, there we go. That works. Cool. And so I've dragged in a door. We can just test to make sure it says level 5. Let's move the wall and door over a little bit, shall we? Yeah. And we can't get through, and can't get through, and can't get through. Okay, good. Let's move it over a little bit. These 3 pieces moved over. I bet the words are still in the way. No, it's okay. That's all right. And then we drag in a button. Boom. Move the button to somewhere. I mean, here sounds just fine. And we will associate this door to this button and save. And we should test this. It says level 5. Ready, set, go. And we can't get in. Oh no, let me come over here. Now we can get in. Run. And you learn about doors. Wait, it says to go to level 3. Why would it say to go to level 3? Don't do that. Go to menu, please. There we go. Cool. So, and we can't get in there. We can't. No, that's okay. So this is pretty good. Okay, let's test it out all the way through and call it good for the day, because we do actually have a level with a new element, the door. The door is triggered by a button, and we can create levels with doors and buttons. We are going to make it look better. We are going to associate doors and buttons together. But for now, you can see we've got level 1 and 2, got walls, we got level 3 and more complicated walls, challenging the player to go find a way to go. Then we go to level 4. Challenge. Challenging the player. And so now, okay, this error says, hold on, we can't switch to something called level 5 because there is nothing called level 5 in the build settings. The error actually tells us what's going on, and they are absolutely right. We need to add level 5 to the build settings. This is what we've been doing all along, and it's just this detail that always gets us, trips us up. It's okay. I'm going to go straight to level 4 to cheat and test. So we go level 4. Ready, set, go. All right. We're testing. Okay, level 5. What is this thing? It looks like we should be able to go through, but we can't. Oh, there we go. Quick. We did it. Is this going too fast? Maybe. Maybe the win square is going a little fast, but then it goes back to the menu. Yay. I guess we should also test if watch me cheat. I'm going to pause. I'm going to drag the player character. Boop, boop, boop. Cheat. Total cheat. Because I want to get to level 5 quickly. I did that while it was in play mode, so it's okay. But what I'm going to test is this. I can't figure this thing out. I don't know what this is, and I lost. Oh no. You lost. Would you like to replay? Yes, I would. Yay, cool. So the replay buttons work. Removing the things work, including button and door. Perfect. It's good. Yay. Nice. In that way, we have done it. Huzzah. If you're interested in watching an ape make a game with Chad, then follow, be notified, and show up. And when you do, please, 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 do me one favor. Do Command Tie. Because Command Tie lets me know you're here, and if you don't do it, I don't know you're here. And I would love to interact with you, especially if you're confused about what we're doing, or if you think we're breaking stuff. We are not. We are making stuff in a jungle. Until then, have fun, do well, be good, stay safe. See ya.